You see what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't have to be.
He didn't know how much money I made. Ooh. He didn't see my pay stubs.
Oh, that speaks to volumes.
That's why
right
he
there.
got that backpack.
I know she make more than me. I know that much.
Backpack and binder.
I guess I'm trying to say it's like he.
You're now listening to The Real.
Man, I appreciate them dudes for talking about
The Raw. Wait, they were talking about The Relatable.
That's exactly what I've been going through.
The Relentlessly Real podcast.
Like that, I think that's an important conversation about, I have this career move. Is this comfortable for you? I want to make for both parties. Like,
did y'all even get a joint account together?
No.
Oh, so like, nothing unravel here.
No.
You take care of the gas, I take care of electric. Like we don't need this. Yeah. So you mentioned that y'all fight. So y'all have verbal like arguments. Was it ever like physical?
No, it didn't get physical. It was always verbal. There might have been times where I thought that it was going to get physical, right. but it didn't.
Yeah.
No.
He was and mentally, because was he controlling?
In my mind, of course, yes, I thought that way because I thought that if I can't do the things I want to do, you trying to control me.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's the way that I thought back then. But no, it wasn't like a verbal abuse because my friends would laugh at me because I would say we would argue with each other, but we weren't cursing each other out.
Oh, y'all didn't curse?
No, we did not curse each other out.
Y'all had a Christian argument. I don't know what that is.
Not what David would have done.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
B.G. Willikers.
No,
sick of this. Like what?
Yeah, we argued, but we didn't curse each other. We didn't curse at each other. And the one day that he did call me out my name, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's definitely over." Like,
oh no,
she went to go get the boxing gloves.
Right. You take that back.
Did y'all fight in front of your daughter? I'm sorry. Did you say you take your backpack and get out?
Get out.
You take your backpack and your binder. You
go to school and you don't come back to your degree.
Yes,
did y'all fight in front of your daughter? Okay.
Yes, we did. When we finally split, she was 3.
Okay.
She was 3 years old.
So by split, you mean like y'all have different addresses?
Yes.
Okay.
Separated.
Yes.
So y'all had to do a year of separation before y'all were divorced, or was it just divorced?
Yeah, we were supposed to do a year, but yeah.
Understood.
We're not going to document that. Go ahead. Yeah, we'll cut that out.
You don't have to in Maryland anymore. You don't have to.
Really? Now. But
then.
Back then.
Yes, you did. So what would you tell yourself if you like knowing what you know now? What would you tell yourself before you get married?
Okay, so the first thing I would tell myself is do not get married because you're pregnant. Like, do not let that weigh a factor into being married. Don't let any type of huge outside factors weigh in on if you're going to get married to this person or not.
Yeah.
Even with people who live together. That's a big, huge outside factor. We live together. And so we should get married. No.
Right.
No. It takes more than just living with a person to be married to that person.
Yeah.
So it sounds like around the lines of like, the concept of it's cheaper to keep her type thing. Like what you were alluding to, like don't let the finances or those outside factors like
that you're living together and all that.
Yeah, play a part in whether you want to spend the rest of your life with this person.
Because you knew you weren't happy. You just
right.
you, at the end of the day, you knew you just were not happy. Did you think he would? Did you not think you cared? But did you think he was happy, or you knew he was unhappy too, or did you? It didn't really.
I thought that throughout the marriage, I thought that he was okay. I thought that he was okay because it was like it wasn't like he had a whole lot of friends or anything else to do. Okay.
Because he was an introvert, right?
He went to work. He wanted his family.
Yeah.
He wanted to be about his family all the time. And I wanted to do things. I wanted to go places. I wanted to hang around people. I wanted to be social,
Gotcha,
and so.
Gotcha. So you're not a super like family. Like, not saying you're not super family, but you're not super like, I gotta be just me and him and just that's it. Like you kind of want to be
right. And but I want all of us to be involved in that. me, my husband, and my kid can go with my friends and their husband and wives and their
So it wasn't
kids.
it wasn't that you were gonna just do it all the time by yourself. You wanted the whole family to go.
Yes,
and he was like, "I want you to stay."
Right, like I wanted to just be us. Why can't it just be us? So I really don't want to be around other people. You know, I don't really like that. Or
that's a big thing, though.
Yeah, it is, it's so funny because like I'm not an introvert, but I'm an ambivert, and so
you're what now?
I'm an ambivert. So it's like
Amber Alert.
Amber.
Have you seen me?
What's an ambivert?
It's an in between. You have moments where you want to go out and you want to be social, but then you have moments where you are introvert. So you're fluctuating.
That's a real thing. I'm not trying.
It's a real thing. Yeah, it's a real thing. I didn't realize I was until I took.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Are you an ambivert? You're an introvert.
I think I'm an ambivert. Like there are times where I'm all in as far as like the outside.
We're all ambiverts.
And
I didn't even know that was a word until 20 seconds ago.
She's an extrovert, so she likes so like literally. And so with people who are introverts, I can understand it because literally sometimes the idea of going out is present stress.
Yes,
and literally it presents stress.
Yes,
especially if I don't know people, if I don't know the people, and then people who knew me like, yeah, but you're so social, like you don't understand, like really.
I could see that.
I would be like, no, I'm good. I don't like large venues. I don't like any. That's why I don't like concerts. I do not like concerts. I don't like anything where there's a large crowd.
Church.
And so sometimes it's some capacity because I don't like it's the idea of like so many like people and it presents stress. Watching each is like, I'm ready to go. So sometimes, but the difference is I have to suck it up because she wants to.
Yeah, that was the compromise.
That's a compromise. Makes sense. And then sometimes she'll be like, I'll just go, because she understands also that like I will pick those kids over that event. Like really? I will stay home, watch my kids, no problem.
Really?
Like in a heartbeat.
That is, I never knew that.
But then it flips sometimes where I'm like, if it's you all, like if it's this circle or another circle, absolutely I'll go. But it's always something like just if we're just going to eat or going to drink or going to see a movie. Mm-hmm. But nothing else. I don't want to do anything else because that's an ambivert. Like it's in between, but I think it's important because I want to add to you. Do you feel like now as you're older, it's not just love; it's just also knowing I have to marry the right type of person.
Yes.
For me, like
yes, it's more. It's more than loving someone. It is so much more. Like you have to discuss your goals and what you feel like your purpose is in life, and be able to help that person, move towards their goal, move towards their purpose. If you can't see yourself doing that, then you shouldn't be with that person. If you meet somebody and their goal is, I want to be a pilot. I didn't want to go the past away, that route, but I want to be a pilot. And I can't deal with you being gone and flying all the time and stressing stuff.
That's real.
That's a good point.
I need to really evaluate us being together because it leads to so much more. Now I'm home. I might feel lonely or depressed because of it. Yeah. And then it might even move me into doing some other stuff that I shouldn't even be doing in the
I was going to ask you about that too. Like, was your sexual life like good or did y'all have?
So we had an issue in like any department you would think about, we had an issue in, except that. But because we had an issue in everything else, it affected that.
Yeah.
What did I say last time?
You've preached that many times.
I said that, man. Like that will ruin the romance. Like, it's hard to be romantic if we are fighting.
Yes.
Or if you have your backpack and you're at school. I'm never.
Wow. So basically, y'all didn't have a lot of. Y'all weren't really having sex then.
It was like. Now you said relentlessly real, right?
It's still the same podcast. Yep.
Oh Lord,
nothing's changed.
And this might be the realest thing I say. It's like, nah, everything was real, but I mean, like, So, and this is so real. If you're not really into it, if a woman, especially women, if we're not really into it, then we won't be. We're not that lubricated. Put it like that.
Dry as a mud.
Yes, and so
Sahara.
So then,
desert.
So then there's a lot of friction. So then afterwards, you're swollen. And
this is relentless.
And if you're swollen for 2 days, then we can't do anything for the next 2 days.
Wow.
That's so.
We turned a
selfish.
mean corner.
That's so selfish.
And
guys
so
are listening.
if he wants it, I can't give it. I'm still swollen. It's still thumping. Like it's still swollen.
Not because you beat it up, either.
Because of the
You
beat it up in the wrong way.
because of the friction. Because we're not good emotionally, so I'm not fully into it, which means that now it's more pressure down there, and it hurts.
Yeah. Did he ever feel the disconnect or because I feel like men know if you're at all paying attention while having sex, you have to kind of know she ain't really feeling it because you're kind of looking at her cues and following. So did that ever surface, or did he just was like, well, I got mine, so I'm good, like type thing?
No, it wasn't that he got his type thing. I mean, I tried to, and sometimes I did try to fake it. Like I tried.
She's like, oh, that was so amazing.
And it was only because I wanted to, I wanted to, but I couldn't wrap my head around it because of all the issues that we had.
Yeah, that's a mean point, Teasa. Yeah. I'm glad you went there because I feel like that's a huge thing. We've talked about that on other podcasts too. Like, if you're not having that relationship where it's like you're not even thriving, but just like we're communicating, we're talking, we're
the other aspects of the relationship,
and you're laying that foundation, it kind of like creates for the woman mostly. It kind of because you rub me the wrong way. I'm like, you ready? Oh no, like you ready to go? I'm right now. I was asleep, but I'm awake now. Like that's literally how men are. But women are like throughout the day, the energy that we're giving them. Mm-hmm. How I am in the morning, how I am, how did I treat you? How did I treat you in the afternoon? Did I check up on you? Did I take care of this bill? You're kind of building the equity of that. Yeah. So like sex comes as a outside of that, like because of that, now sex is possible. But you're saying because of those issues, it didn't allow for you to have that kind of, enjoyable situation.
Yeah, because mentally I wanted to, I want to be intimate with my husband. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because of how I felt, I couldn't get
there. You couldn't even control, and that's a huge point. You couldn't even control if you wanted to, because you're telling your mind or you're telling your body.
I'm trying
to do it, and it
focus, and it just.
That's real.
Wow, dang, I love that point. That's a huge point.
Yeah, that's so tough though, man. Because again, that even speaks to the selflessness behind it. Because I've learned over the years, like it just being with my wife in general.
Yeah.
I might be willing and everything like that, but I have to be conscious of where she is currently emotionally and everything like that when it comes down to sex, because at the end of the day, like even if I was to get mine off, I'm like, well, she wasn't happy, so it's kind of like it defeats the purpose. Like the purpose is
I can power through. I can power. If you're not,
but
into it.
For me, it sucks though, because I felt like I was the only one that got something out of it and she didn't. Yeah, so that would make me feel like crap at the end of the day. I'm just like, all right, well,
in the morning, I would. Yeah, that evening, I'm like, I'm asleep now. It's good. So do y'all still talk?
Yes.
How does that work?
Like, not talk on we're friends level. No, we talk on we're co-parenting level.
Yeah,
got you.
What does that look like for y'all? Like y'all talk once a week, 3 times a week, 5 times every day?
No, we don't talk every day, and there might be times where I might not talk to him for a whole week or 2 or say anything to him. But it's now that she's 10 now, so it's like if any issues arise, then we have no problem with calling each other or texting each other. Okay, this is what the issue is, or this is what the concern is, or okay, now we got to take care of this financially for her or something like that. So whenever it comes up,
does she predominantly stay with you?
It's a joint.
It's a joint custody.
Yes, it's been joint for the past 6 years. Yeah, since she was 3 when we actually split. So 7 years, something like that.
What does that look like? Like he has her when and you have her when?
He has her every Monday, Tuesday, and every other weekend. I have her Wednesday, Thursday, and every other weekend. But I get her.
Who has her Friday, Saturday?
It's every other weekend.
It's Friday the weekend?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Friday.
I did say Saturday.
Yeah.
But I meant Friday.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, some people think of the weekend like Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
But So yeah, Friday, Saturday, and I pick her up on Sunday. So I end up having her overnight every Sunday. But he'll have her, so he sees her. Like,
how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about that part?
Oh my goodness! In the beginning, when she was 3, when we first started the schedule, it sucked. It sucked because I wanted to be in my daughter's life every single day. Every day. I wanted to have her every night. And so to have to share and, you know, and have her go with him. And I mean, and I was comfortable with her going because he's a great father.
Yeah.
It's
nothing about that. It's
no,
just like
it's nothing about that at all. And I thank God for that.
Yeah.
Because it could be way worse.
I thank the heavens, Lord. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, and he's very protective, and we don't have issues with how we discipline her, our views of how we raise her. So that was not an issue for us.
That's good. That's actually really good.
Yeah.
And it's still not an issue for us. I have, you know, we both had like the same standards, the same morals on how we want our child to be.
That's huge.
So I'm asking a deep question. So because I feel like once other people get involved, there's usually issues. Like he's dating somebody else.
He's
or
married.
He dates somebody else. That's what I asked.
Oh, he got married again?
So how's that?
Yes, he got married again.
How was that?
Yeah,
He got married. He got married in 2015. Mind you, our divorce was
2013
on paper in 2013. We split in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? Sorry, I'm not.
I'm doing the numbers.
Honestly, how I felt about that, good. Somebody take him. Woo!
Yeah.
No, and I'm serious because I didn't want him coming back to me.
So let me ask that because there's always, if you've ever been in relationships, whether it's divorce or marriage, there's the split. Especially if you're with somebody for a long time, there's a split, but then there's a real split. Like you will split with somebody. But because like sometimes often we're still intimate because there's nobody else to be intimate with. Like so
oh yeah,
that happens in a lot of relationships. Like there's nobody else, even though we're not together. I got these needs, you got these needs, and I'm not trusting it with anybody else.
That's true.
So did that ever happen between you all where there was like a split, but then like there were times where you guys were still, or it was a complete split from the jump?
Severed.
So so. When I actually said, you know what, February 20th, 2012, I was like, I'm done. You know, this is over. We were still in a lease together, so we still had to live together for 7 months.
Wow.
Okay.
For 7 months, and I can say there were probably about 2 or 3 times where we were, you know, active. But that was only 2 or 3 times because it was like, okay, I'm feeling some kind of way, you feeling some kind of way, but we're still living together, you know. But and I think it was just one time after we actually split, but it was that same month that we actually moved out. So
that y'all did what?
That we were involved sexually.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna make sure you got that last one in.
Yeah. But after that, nothing.
Never again.
Nothing. So not even when he was dating his current wife, anything, nothing.
Yeah.
Not even when I was with anybody.
Nothing.
No.
I'm trying to think who it was. So funny was it? Might have been Chris Rock. Where somebody said like, you know, that should be in the divorce decree. Well, Your Honor, I'm used to a certain lifestyle, so I think she should come over 3 or 4 times a week. Let's put that in the alimony. Like,
yeah.
Right. So yeah, I was happy that he was with someone.
Yeah, of course.
I was happy that he was with someone, and I knew that he wouldn't choose someone that would be, I guess, harmful towards my child because he's very protective of my child. So I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this person is probably okay. And then she had a daughter who was 3 years older than my daughter, so that also helped with me because it was like, okay, she know how to take care of a girl already, and once Maya is over there, then they play together and everything, and it's not just her staying at home watching my child while he's at work or something.
Right. When you guys went through your difficult times, did you talk to friends about it?
Yeah, I did.
How did that factor in? Were they married, single? Did they tell you, girl, leave him, or girl, stay, or fight through it? What was the commentary on that?
I got a lot of girl, leave him.
Were they single people or married people?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Yeah, both. I got it from married and single people. Like, you shouldn't be with him. And then I got other things, from people like, just try to work it out, stay together, go to counseling, don't get a divorce. What about your child and everything? So I had to kind of go with my own gut. I literally one day I was laying down and I was like, do I want to wake up and be miserable like this for the rest of my life? And I started crying. And I was like, oh no, this has to end. I have to go through with this divorce because I do not want to live like this for the rest of my life. We were both willing, but it just
didn't matter.
It just seemed like we weren't capable of even getting to a certain point.
So what I hear you saying is willingness is not enough.
No, you have to be able to do it. Intentions is not enough.
Yep. Willing and able.
So you said intentions is not enough.
No, you have to follow through with it. You can intend to do something all you want to, but if you don't follow through with it, what is the intentions for?
What good is the intentions? Okay. Because I was thinking like being intentional requires the act of doing.
Yeah, that's what I was
asking what you mean.
Around the concept of like faith and works. Like you can be praying for stuff all day and hoping for stuff all day, but if you're not putting your feet to the ground to at least give God something to work with.
But see, I think that's being willing but not being able. So some people like I really let me give a bad example. If it's an abusive husband or his wife, I really do not want to keep like hurting my spouse. Like that's what I really don't. But if he doesn't go to counseling and get help and this and this, he's not really able at that point. Even though his intentions are, I can't believe I did it again. He has great intentions.
That's a good perspective to speak from, though. Like in relation to abuse, right? So, if somebody is not able to like figure out the concepts of, okay, why do I keep doing this thing? Like I don't want to, but I keep doing it anyway.
You're willing.
Yeah,
like you don't possess the ability.
People aren't just like buttholes out here and just like, hey, I'm doing this purposely, like just evil types thing. Like people just genuinely just don't know how to act and need to be taught.
Right. And the other person who is basically suffering from you going through that is like, how long am I going to sit here until you figure out how you can be able to get through your situation? Because now I'm suffering. And I'm suffering, and I'm sitting here, and I'm still suffering, and you're still not getting better. So what am I supposed to do?
You mentioned that you have a bunch of friends, and you had a community, and he didn't really. So when y'all were going through divorce, or going through the topic of divorce, you had your friends that said X. What about him?
I don't know who he had.
He didn't have probably nobody. Family, maybe?
A backpack.
That he
and a binder.
And I don't know. He's a very private person, so I don't know how much he told his family.
Wow.
I don't think he sat with his family and told them
what was going on.
Exactly.
And I want to even say something to that. Like that speaks to the value. There's so much value. To me, there's so much value in exposing the mess in your marriage. There is just so much value in that, because if you don't expose it or deal with it, it will surface some way, somehow.
To wise counsel.
I agree with wise counsel. I don't mean I assume that we're all on the same page, but yeah, you're right. Wise counsel. So, but I think it should come out. Is what I'm trying to say, because I feel like, especially in our culture. Especially in our culture today, black people in general, we just don't share our struggles. We just be like, we want to appear when we all come together like we're okay, when we're just not okay. And I feel like that's a big part of what you're speaking to today, Teasa. And I feel like that's when my marriage changed for the better. It was when I started being like, bro, Terrence, this is what I'm going through, bro.
Yeah.
My marriage changed dramatically when I started exposing stuff to other people of wise counsel.
Of wise counsel,
I would say the
course,
same thing.
Yeah.
And what's I think who's the person who wrote Purpose Driven Life?
I don't know, but it's a good book. It's
an amazing book. One of the things he said, because when I say wise counsel, it's unfortunate that we have to be that because of social media and gossip. But he one of the points that he made was the word Christianity and privacy shouldn't exist together. Like if we were really doing this thing right, the word of me being private and being a Christian should not even exist.
It's Rick Warren.
It's Rick Warren. So when he said that, I was like, wow, that's like so deep. Because if we are really doing this right, I should be able to go to any person who's a believer that I'm close to or even not close to. Hey, I'm going through this, and without fear of you judging, without fear of you go spreading it out, without fear of you taking that with bad intentions to do something differently. Mm-hmm. But because we don't do Christianity right,
we don't.
We're
trash at how we handle.
We are trash, and it's, especially in my opinion, you can judge me if you want, especially in the church, we don't do it right. Therefore, I do have to be selective about the wise counsel that I involve in my discussions. But I wholeheartedly agree with that point, is that you have to involve somebody in that discussion.
But how do you find that wise counselor though? Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure it's difficult if you're an introvert too.
Yeah, and I think finding that wise counsel goes back to like judging people by their fruit too. Like if you see that their lifestyle is speaking towards, I guess, rectifying the issues that you're going through, that's a good indicator to be like, hey, can I talk to you about something for a second? Mm-hmm. I see that you're living this type of way, and I'm going through something that I kind of use this or use your lifestyle as an example for me to go off of. Like, can I talk to you about this? What are your suggestions on this?
And I think it should be someone who's been transparent with you, because I feel like if I can't, I'm not inclined to trust you as much.
Yeah, transparency is key.
Yeah, if you're not transparent with me, like you're transparent with me about things.
Yeah, if it's a one-way street, it kind of.
Yeah. But in a culture filled with people that aren't transparent, how do you find a transparent person that's going to be? Somebody has to be that first person to be transparent. And that's. I mean, at the church I play, I mean that's essentially what it is. Like there are a bunch of people that don't trust each other. So they're so busy trying to like cover up that they spend more of their energy doing that than even like living for Jesus. Like literally, they spend more of their time like, as long as I just look like whole house on fire. But as long as I look like I'm okay, it's okay. And it's like the enemy has so much dominion in that area when we don't expose it. And I feel like even the Bible speaks to it. Like obviously, I mean, not to make this a whole biblical thing. If y'all in the church or whatever, that's cool. But like I believe it's like it says, confess your sins one to another and pray one for another, and you will be healed. Like, but we don't do that, right?
They skip the first part. They just want to pray for one another, but there's no
confession. And that exposure, that exposing it out into the atmosphere allows for other people to be like, I go through that, and I've been through that, or I've conquered that, and then you can come together and say, well, how do we win? Because I feel like that's a lot about what marriage is. Because I'm trying to figure out, Teasa, as you tell your story, like where was it where I could be like, okay, because let's say our marriages are parallel, right? Mm-hmm. Where was it where your marriage was like went left and mine went right? Where yours went towards divorce and mine went towards keep fighting, even as it stands right now. I know we're not going to get divorced. I'm going to keep praying against that. Mm-hmm. But I'm just speaking to like the same things you spoke about in your marriage are things that happen in every marriage, right? So like where did the decisions happen where you didn't deal with X and I maybe did, or you understand what I'm saying?
I think the main things are issues that we have individually before we get married and bring it on the other person when you get married. Like stuff that's unresolved and you bring into your marriage.
Yeah.
And then not really fully communicating that with the other person, all of the things that might trigger you, all of the things that you've been through. So now that other, you had these expectations as well. So now that other person is just, they're living their life. They're thinking everything fine, not knowing that they're not living up to your expectations, not knowing that they're triggering you all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and these things, it plays
a part in the marriage. Right?
Yes. Yeah. It plays a major part. So then now, even if you get to the point where you want to bring all this up, okay, let me let you know that you've been doing this, and this that's not living up to my expectations, that's really triggering me, that's causing a lot of problems within myself. The other person now confused. And now I gotta change my whole routine, change my life, change who I am, change what I'm used to. Yeah. We used to doing this. I thought we was fine. Yeah. And now that's hard for them. How you view things
as being right was totally wrong in the first place. It's like, dang, so now you gotta review like what's actually right and what's wrong at this point within the marriage.
I think a big part of what makes a marriage, because like when I first was in my marriage, I used to think like, Jovita, you need to make me happy, and I don't think it's not her job. to make me happy.
Right.
It's not her burden. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a whole. I don't even make me happy sometimes. I make bad decisions about what I eat. Like I'm like, I be mad at myself. Like I can't believe I just ate that. Like legit. So how am I gonna look at her like you need to make me happy? But I feel like we put these weights that should not. They don't belong on the spouses.
Right.
We put it on them like you should be making me happy right now, and because you don't, like I'm unfulfilled. I'm leaving. I feel like there's some certain level of like, for one, I need to be within myself happy. That's the first thing. I can't put that weight on you.
But you got to know what makes you happy.
Right. There has to be some, and I feel like we talked about this a little bit. Like when you're single, that's the time to be figuring out those things, right? Before you get married. So like I think people look to marriage for happiness. Right. People have assessed value of like I'll be married when I'm happy versus like learning how to be married now.
Right.
I mean, learning how to be happy now.
Happy now.
Yeah,
right.
happy now. You know what I'm saying?
So I really think the main thing is you need to be ready for marriage. You need to fully understand what marriage is and be ready for marriage. If you're not ready
what does that mean when you say be ready for, like people say that all the time, but how do you know if you're ready for marriage? What are some things that you
have to be able to you have to be willing and able to communicate who you are to the other person.
Open and honestly.
That's good.
100%.
That's good.
You have to let them know what you like, what you dislike, what's going on with you, what you want to do in life. You have to communicate those things with the next person. You have to be able to know how to speak to one another. Because it's not always what you say, is how you say it.
Yep.
You have to be able to know how to resolve conflict in a way that is healthy. In a way that is healthy.
Healthy conflict resolution.
Yes. Yes. You have to know how to do that when you get married. You also have to know how to manage your finances.
Yeah.
That's important.
Come on.
That's very important.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Very important.
It's very important. And if you don't know how to,
admit it.
Yeah. Seek help. Yeah. Let the other person do it. Work with them. Learn. You have to be willing to learn. But men
are trash at, like, I know I am, like when it comes to like, but just pride, like just like I feel like we talked about like being the head. Like I'm going to be the head. I'm gonna be the head of my household. Like with no understanding of what it means.
What it means to be
like we don't know, but we gonna keep saying it because we want to appear like we're head like. To our spouses. So I kind of feel like that's why we just be doing trash. So we just think like we should be making more, we should be handling the finances, we should be the ones telling you what to do and where to go, how to, you know what I mean? And I think one of the things that changed for me was like, man, how do I best serve my wife? Like it changed from like I'm the head to like, yo, how do I best tend to this woman and lead her properly? And I feel like there's a natural flow that happens when you start doing it that way, that she will follow you, but you just got to serve her right.
Right.
But that speaks to what you were talking about with like you switched your mindset, or you did conflict resolution even within yourself, right? Some introspection for yourself.
But when I was married,
you did this when you was married.
Yeah, not when I was single.
Gotcha. But to that point, like doing it while you're single, being able to do that introspection while you're single, it goes over into your marriage.
Exactly.
And you practice those same things of being able to look inwardly, like, okay, like what am I bringing to the table? What am I causing the issues? Like you're in your realm of control at that point. I
think that's being responsible.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like it's like being a responsible like adult. And I think nothing's sexy about that. Nothing's fun about that. That's literally like, let me just sit down and journal out or like really take time to think. Like this culture doesn't allow for that. This culture is like everything's fast, everything's Instagram, Facebook, this, that, and you're distracted by 1,000 different things that you never really start dealing with yourself until you're married. Because marriage is a mirror. It will show you who you really are.
And I think like one of the things that Teasa you just said, which I think is important, is that you said like conflict, like knowing how to manage conflict. You said knowing about managing finances. You said knowing about being able to communicate effectively. And what I think is so much wisdom is what you didn't say is, I know I'm ready to be married because he makes me feel so good, and there's so much. There's so much. Like,
butterflies, bingo.
And it's just this, and people but there's so much value in that. And what I hate is when people who've heard the podcast or people who talk would say, it seems like there's no romance. Is that no? It's just bigger than the romance.
Yeah,
like
it's a part of the pie, not the whole.
That's
pie.
so cute and that's great. Like, but it's not going to sustain.
Honestly, everybody doesn't even want romance. There are people who romance is not high on their list.
Yeah, that's true too. That's very true. That's true.
Women?
It could be both. It could be either or.
I feel like okay.
It can be either or. I mean, some things that we might find as romantic, a woman might not find as romantic. You know, she might he's taking care of what he needs to take care of. He got a job. He's providing for the family. Oh, that's nice right there. That's romantic
that's
to
me. That's their concept of
romance is at a high level.
I'm ready.
All time. I had another question. What is the hardest thing about going through divorce?
The hardest thing about going through divorce is it depends, okay? So if you value the people around you and their opinions and their view or just how you are, what you represent to your environment, then that weighs a toll on you because now you're like, okay, I literally thought that I was walking around with a big, huge red D like this on my forehead. Whenever anybody see, oh my gosh.
Teasa, I cannot.
Terrence, you are 3 years old at all.
I did not let that one slide. If you would have said the scarlet letter,
let me
like
tell you
on your chest, I would have let that
Teasa,
one.
let me tell you. As you're talking, I look at.
I didn't even have to look at him like
Terrence.
Oh my gosh.
I got a big
on your forehead.
I got a big old D on my
Listen, Tanisha, I tried. I cannot let that slide. But scarlet letter, I got you. I know what you meant.
That's
You are 12 years old at all times. Never. I'm sorry.
That was my exact thought. Like, just a big D on my forehead.
Yeah.
Like, anybody who see me, they see me with this letter on my forehead.
You know what's interesting about that? I feel like, and I hate society for this, but like, first it's like you bear the weight of having have a child before marriage, and then you bear the weight of getting married, basically getting married because of the child. So that's like another societal like, oh, I can't believe she did that. And then you go through divorce. I feel like that's a big thing of judgment all around that season of your life.
And none of those people have any bearing on your happiness. Like in the crux, none of those people have any. Like they're not paying no bills.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not gonna wake up with you in the middle of the night and rock that baby to sleep. Like I think the crux of it is that we put so much emphasis
on society
and what other people think, but they're not living the life for you, and you only got one life to live.
But the thing is, when you're a Christian and you're not supposed to be ashamed and everything, and so people know who you are, and it's like you want to be a great example, and when you feel like you fall short, you feel horrible.
Can you speak to that for a second? Because I feel like what do you feel from the Christian lens now? Like having gone through what you went through, what would you say to Christians now about this topic in general? Not just divorce, but like everything, like getting married before. I mean, obviously you already spoke to like don't get married because you're pregnant, but
right.
But aside from that, like, what do you feel about view-wise for Christians?
It's tough. It's tough, and Christians are human who are going to make mistakes, and they're not going to take all of the perfect steps in life. So you might make a decision to date someone who is not good for you, So we're going to make different mistakes in life. You need to have a friend, family, just a community. It don't gotta be a lot of people. It can be 2 people that's with you, that supports you, that you can talk to, that you can vent to, because Christians are ruthless sometimes.
I love that you said that. It needs to be said. Like I feel like Christianity is lived more out. Like it's more so like a baby trying to walk. And like you're stumbling forward.
It's any religion. It's any religion.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
True. That's a good point.
Exactly.
It's because people is holding you up to these standards that you have to be like this all the time and make no mistakes, and that's not real. That's not being a human at all. So like, I looked at Muslims like, oh, these people, they pray all the time. They should be perfect. If I see a Muslim doing something wrong, I'm judging. Like, what you mean? You're supposed to be Muslim.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the same thing Christians do. So you have to have those people in your life that's going to be there for you regardless, and they're going to help you through different situations, because the Christians are going to judge.
That's sad. Christians be trash for that.
And we sometimes forget about the purpose of grace, right? Not just the grace that God has for us, but the grace that we're supposed to be exemplifying, like to have for each other.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got a threefold question. Well, three questions. Number one, I think we already know the answer to. Do you wish you stuck it out? And then number two, would you remarry?
No. I mean, yes, I am. Well, wait a minute.
First question.
You should just ask the first question first, and then ask the second question second.
Sorry, Teasa is very educated.
She's asking you exactly what was the first one again.
Do you wish you stuck it out?
No.
Okay.
No.
And then would you remarry again?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
So it didn't taint your
view on marriage.
No, it didn't. Okay. It didn't taint my view on marriage, because nobody's marriage is the same. We're all different people.
Yeah.
So marriage is different for every couple. It's not like this is exactly what marriage is for everybody. You know, I wasn't with the right person. He wasn't with the right person. Now he's with somebody else, and you know, she's the right person for him. You know, and within his marriage. So I'm glad that, you know, he's on that path now. So no, we didn't need to stay married.
Are you dating?
Yes.
How's that going?
It's fine.
Have y'all been together for a long time?
A little over 2 years.
Okay.
A little over 2 years.
That's good.
So
yeah,
I got a question. So I know you had mentioned like the pain points for you within going through the divorce and being divorced. Have you noticed that affecting your daughter in any way, in a negative or positive or whatever the case? If you don't mind speaking.
Being divorced?
Yeah.
So we separated when she was very young. So she kind of grew up with mommy here, daddy here.
Gotcha.
She didn't grow up with us together, and then all of a sudden we split.
Right.
That's kind of what she knows.
She's grown accustomed to the
the
culture.
So if it's Monday and she's with me, she's like, I'm supposed to be over daddy house.
Gotcha.
So she's like, okay, I have two homes. You know, so she's used to it. I mean, it's been a couple of times where she was like, mommy, why can't you live with us at daddy house? Or, you know, why my mommy and daddy not together and stuff. And one time she asked, was it her fault? And at this time she was like 5 or 6. She asked, was it her
she's
fault?
older. She's getting older. She's like, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean.
How does that affect you? Like,
yeah, with her asking those questions like that and feeling the way that she felt, like, how does that affect you?
First, I was glad that she said something. Because I don't want her to walk around with these feelings inside and not expressing them to me at all. Secondly, it didn't make me feel bad, only because I grew up without both of my parents in the household, and I think I turned out great. So I'm like, I'm like, you're going to be fine. Like, you're going to turn out great. Right. So,
and I think it's big. She is like I think I said it in one of our earlier podcasts. It's having 2 active parents.
Yes,
that makes a
huge
difference.
I was listening to the D.L. Hughley show the other day, and the question was, would you rather have an active parent in your child's life and you get no child support, or would you rather have someone who pays child support and they're not active? And I was like, how can this even be a question? Wow. This is ridiculous. And there was people that called there and was like, well, I'd rather get child support and have a non-active parent. Are you serious?
I believe that that's the case for people.
Especially, it's sad, but I mean,
relationally,
that's just how they value things in general, right?
Like, I'd rather have the money.
Yeah.
He pays child support?
No.
Okay.
Because he's active.
Because he's active?
We have joint custody, and because he's active. So with us having joint custody and we seeing the child equally, it might be like joint custody, they say, is like 65-35. So even if one parent had the child 65% of the time, it's still joint custody of the parent. Other parent only got them 35% of the time. Gotcha. But we're kind of like almost 50-50.
Did he fight for joint custody, or was it like how did that work?
You know what? Everything was peaceful.
Okay.
That's it was getting to that point. No, but once we got to that point, it was like, okay, the judge said joint custody. This is what it is. We figured out our own schedule. The courts did not do that for us.
That's good. That's awesome.
We discussed that ourselves. So it's not written anywhere that he's going to get her these days and I get these days. So, what was the original question? Because my mind went to...
that was the original question.
We had just started stemming into other stuff. So, that's good.
That's my biggest problem with how we do marriage in general. I really wish governments were not involved in much in marriage. And I think I've said this before on other topics. Like, I really wish there was, and I know I'm probably shooting myself because you get tax breaks. I actually honestly don't care about any of that. To be honest, I literally wish the government had nothing to do with marriage.
So
who would though?
I just think I think marriage should be handled by religious institutions. That's my personal opinion.
Should it still be on paper? Should it still be on paper, on record, and everything that you are married to this person?
I could care less.
I feel like the only reason why we go like the paper route and having things on record is due to the fact that there are law-abiding things associated to that,
and that's what I hate.
Taxes, all that other stuff.
I hate that. Because I feel like that has tainted everything that in my opinion, that it takes the idea of what the marriage is supposed to be.
The value,
because some people literally don't get divorced because of everything they have to do legally.
Sure.
Nothing to do with them.
I was about to ask you, was that part even seamless? Because you mentioned that y'all both were amicable, but as far as the process of getting divorced, was that difficult or annoying or frustrating or anything?
No, not for me. It wasn't. And like I said in the beginning, I look out for myself. I make sure that I'm good. I make sure that I'm not dependent on anybody. So it's like we getting a divorce, I'm gonna be fine. Like, I have somewhere to go. I have a place to stay. So I'm not staying with you because I need to live with you a little longer to get my finances intact.
Get back on my feet.
Right. I don't have to live with you for that. So you can go, I can go, and I'll be okay. So I'm
Do you think that independence that you've kind of cultivated, do you think that will have a negative impact on if you are to get remarried?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So speak to that a little bit more.
And I think it's more so because I'm not going to be as open to sharing my residency, as far as on paper. I'm not going to be open to joint bank accounts.
Got it.
Okay. It's like, you take care of your stuff, I'm gonna take care of mine.
So that's gonna be hard.
Is it a deal breaker? If he's like, no, I want joint accounts. I want us to do this together.
We can have a joint account, but I'll still have mine.
I want all joint accounts. Give me everything joint. If he says that to you,
I'll have a secret bank account.
And that speaks to some things that's I'm gonna make sure.
I need to make sure that I'm good, and that's a positive and it's a negative. I know. I have a child. I need to make sure we're good. I'm not going to put all of my eggs into your basket and make sure that you take care of us. No, because if something goes wrong, if something goes the wrong way, then my child is affected now because now I can't take care of my child.
Yeah, that's your responsibility. You got.
And I think that's into my point too, because there's the idea that now that we're married, my debt and your debt is now that's our debt legally, and so there's all, which is what that goes back to my point why I wish that was just
separate.
Like that, like marriage has nothing to do with the government. That would actually answer a whole bunch of questions that we have as a society. Like, if this has nothing to do with legally, I mean, it's a perfect world, but
I think I think that it will hurt.
That's a hard battle.
It's a factor in my relationship now, and it's probably I don't know how to fully just
let it
Submit,
and that's okay. Oh gosh, no,
but you were like that before. You were like that. This is not something.
It's not new.
It's not new. It's not like.
But now now I have my child involved, so now it's really real. I'm really gonna make sure that I'm good for me and my kid. Like,
is that something that you will be willing to seek help to kind of figure out a balance?
Do I have to?
Do you want to get married again?
It's your world.
I mean, like, I'm for real. Like, do I have to? Like, and that's the thing that I have to work on as well. Like, do I want to change these things? Do I want to work on this? Do I?
The only reason why I asked that is because you recognize it as it being an issue.
Yeah,
that it would turn into an issue if you were to get married or potentially.
And honestly, I'm thinking like, well, why can't that person just deal with me being like this? Like,
no, I mean, he might, yeah,
because like
but he might not.
You're able,
he might not. Right, and I recognize that, but you know, I'm being real. You know what I'm saying? It's like, am I willing to work on that right now? No, but should I? Maybe
at some point when it matters.
That's really honest.
I don't mind that answer.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't mind that answer. I feel like it's something you think about
relentlessly.
So I do want to say one last thing. Like, I really hate Christian culture that makes you feel the shame that you feel. You know, when you do something that they can see, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like we need to do better about humanizing situations that people go through and stop being so, not even just stop being judgmental, but really putting yourself in that person's shoes. And I haven't always been that way, right? Like I've leaned more towards judgment in most of my life, but like the more I experience people that are closer to me, that they go through stuff, it kind of really pushes me to be like, man, I didn't know all that was going on. And I feel like Christians need to hear the like how much that affects people, like in decisions, and even if it's like how much you maybe even hate yourself for making a mistake that we all make.
Yeah, and I mean, the stuff that I put myself through, the stuff that I wrote down about myself, just, you know, feeling like I need to be punished for the decisions that I made because I didn't do everything the right way. Yeah. And I went down this route and people told me don't go down this route and I did it anyway. And and then now, it ain't even work out for you. Now you got divorced. Like, and so when I fill out paperwork, it says single, married, divorced, or widowed. I'm single. Why gotta write divorce?
Yeah.
Why do I have to put put divorce on the paper?
Yeah.
I'm not married, so it reminds me all the time. Why do you need to know that I was divorced? I mean, I'm not married.
What does that have to do with anything legal?
Right, and I think the only thing I might have to deal with is, okay, so maybe we'll look for if you had a prior name, you know, because your name is now different in the system or something. Yeah. I don't know, but still, it's like, ask me, was my name ever different? Because not everybody who's married changed their last name.
Did you change yours?
Yes, I had changed mine. I changed mine right away.
And you changed it right back?
And I changed it right back. And but let me tell you.
When I saw that Lomax hit Facebook, I said, well,
it's over.
No, but
it's only real when it's on Facebook.
Honestly, let me tell you something, because people don't know this. Let me tell you something. It wasn't my decision to change my name back to Lomax. Not initially. I wanted to keep Robertson so that my child can have the same last name as her mother. Okay. So that I wouldn't have to change all my documents again because it's a process. Yeah. My mother kept my father's last name until she got remarried. I was like, I'll just keep my last name until if I ever get remarried.
Yeah.
But there is a paper that you can fill out. The husband can fill out. The man can fill out and say, I do not want her to keep my last name. She got to change it back. And that's what he did.
He didn't tell you?
No, he told me. He said, you're not keeping my last name because if I get married again, I'm not going to have my current wife and my ex-wife with the same last name of mine.
That's valid.
So
it's valid.
Just to be clear, she said Robertson and not Robinson. Put it out there.
We both know she ain't your wife.
Right.
Okay.
But and it's funny because my mother's maiden name is Robinson. Like my family is a Robinson family. But anyway, so
Wow, man.
But yeah, he filled the paperwork out for me to change my name back, and I'm actually glad that he did because I'm glad that I have my last name. And my daughter asks me, "Why is my name not the same as hers anymore?" And I tell her the truth.
Yeah, we divorced.
Right. I'm not married to your dad anymore.
I never got the chance to ask you this, but when you did get found out you were pregnant, was he happy about it or was he blown?
Oh, he was fine with it. He was happy about it. But he wasn't happy about the fact that I had to get approval from my mother first before I was happy.
Okay.
Him being happy wasn't enough for me. It was like, okay, my mother, she okay? Okay, now I'm happy. I'm good.
Got you. So yeah, this has been a great episode. Talking with Teasa about divorce, man. I have like literally nothing else. Like I think you've really exhausted everything that has to do with divorce. We really appreciate you taking the time to let us know everything that's entailed with it, like all that you felt. And I hope that the next time if you do decide to get married, that it's a fruitful marriage. And
oh yeah, I do not want to go through divorce again.
Yeah,
I don't, and so that makes me even more careful now of taking that step.
Sure.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the transparency because people ain't willing to share this type of stuff, and people need to hear it.
Which I don't understand why, but I guess it's for a later topic. Like we got to be more transparent about when we go through stuff and exposing stuff. So, right now, guys, we're gonna do the Terrence's Real Talk wrap up.
All right, I thought I'd start this one. I didn't give y'all any jokes last week, so I thought I'd bring back the jokes for this topic of divorce. All right, you ready? Yeah. All right, two men are discussing their lives. One says, "I'm getting married. I am tired of this messy apartment, dirty dishes, and no clothes to wear." The other one says, "I'm getting divorced for the same reason." No, nothing. Okay. All right. I am a marvelous housekeeper. Every time I leave a man, I keep his house. No. All right, I'm gonna give you one more. Two co-workers were walking by the water fountain, and one guy said, "Today I got through the first step of getting divorced." Second guy replies, "Oh, did you go to Mr. Guggenheim? Everyone goes to see him for the divorce." The first man said, "No, I just got married." So,
where you get these jokes from?
My goodness.
Listen, as funny as that scene today, it's not funny because approximately 42 to 45% of marriages in the United States end in divorce, and this does not even include legal separation. We're just talking about just divorce. When you break that down by number of marriages, that means 42 to 45% of marriages end in divorce, 60% of second marriages in divorce, and an astounding 73% of third marriages in divorce.
Wow.
So hopefully that person adopts the baseball mentality, and because at this rate, 3 strikes, you should be out. Seriously, according to the U.S. Census, facts about divorce are astounding. In the United States today, 16,000 divorces are happening per week. That's actually 2,400 divorces per day, and over 850,000 divorces per year. The average person spends about 2 years thinking about divorce before they actually do it. With that being said, divorce is not a death sentence, though, to be married. In fact, 3 out of every 4 people who divorce remarry. So there is some positive. And actually promising. And actually, about 8% of divorced couples actually remarry each other. So I want everybody to say, "Aww." I'll talk about love, right? In all seriousness, we have discussed marriages for 3 weeks, and we talked about divorce on today. I think the bottom line is that for some people, well, technically 42% of people, divorce will be a reality. In fact, it is a question that actually keeps people up at night. It is literally all they think about. Listen, I don't believe divorce is something that anybody wants, but people are afraid to be embarrassed and ashamed. Plus, when you add kids, it's even worse. A common statement is, "I don't want my kids to grow up in a broken home." So the question still remains, should I get divorced? When is it time to get a divorce? Well, according to the Huffington Post, there are actually some top reasons why divorce is the answer. After all, sometimes divorce is better than being in a bad marriage. So I'm going to shoot them out real quick. You have given marriage counseling a fair try, and there has been no change. When both people work on a relationship and are committed to staying married, a few months of marriage therapy will make an amazing difference. On the other hand, sometimes marriage counseling makes it abundantly clear that your differences are irreconcilable. So it might be time to go. You or your spouse's mental illness creates a toxic environment for the other party and or your children, and said party refuses to get help. So that's the number 2 reason. It's just toxic. Many people with mental illnesses have good marriages. There are a wide range of severity in mental illness. Some mental illnesses are curable, other mental illnesses are manageable. But a person must be willing to do the work and get the help that he or she needs. When they don't, life can be extremely chaotic and even dangerous. Ground rule number 1, ladies and gentlemen, for determining if you should divorce. Forget love, safety first, especially when other people are involved. Third one, you or your spouse are addicted to alcohol and other drugs and they refuse to get help. If it is an alcoholic or an addict's decision to drink or use drugs. I'm going to say it again. It is that alcoholic's and that addict's decision to drink or use drugs. However, it is your decision to live with the alcoholic or that drug addict. There are many resources to help alcoholics and drug addicts, including Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, and many chemical dependency treatment programs. In order to get help, someone must accept that they have a problem, and this often does not happen. It is a popular misconception that your spouse will stop using if you stay with them. Boo! That is a horrible reason to stay. In fact, you actually may be enabling them. Sometimes leaving them is the best wake-up call to how toxic their choices really are. Ground rule number 2, when determining whether or not to divorce. Forget love, safety first. Number 1, you and your children are in physical danger. Physical abuse is never okay. Spouses who batter will often try to make it seem like it's the victim's fault. It is not. If you do not feel emotionally strong enough to leave a physically abusive relationship, immediately get help from a trained mental health professional. You can go to a battered women's shelter temporarily if you are in an unsafe relationship. Your local police department and social services agencies will help locate a nearby shelter. When your children are unsafe, you need to do what needs to be done to get them in a safe situation. Too often, women stay with men who are physically or sexually abusive to their children. This is not okay. Your first job as a parent is to protect your children. Some women stay because they feel they have no other option. In the United States, there are many programs to help you. You can access better women's shelters, etc., financial assistance programs, and legal aid. It will not be easy, but do not endanger your children because you are financially dependent on their father. Use your resources. The police and local social services agencies can help you locate need resources. Please refer to ground rule number 3 when determining if you should file for a divorce. Forget love, safety first. Finally, you or your spouse refuses to end an affair. An affair does not need to end your marriage. With hard work or building trust and forgiveness, some couples actually have stronger, better marriages after the affair. For some couples, an affair is the end of the marriage. The first step in healing after an affair is for contact with the affair partner to totally and completely stop. No phone calls, no texting, no being friends. Ideally, if they're two coworkers, one might need to get a different job, and that may not be possible without extreme financial hardships, but it is ideal. If the person having the affair is unwilling to do these things, then there's little hope of the marriage lasting. Please refer to ground rule number 4 when it comes to determining if a divorce should happen. Forget love.
Safety first.
Safety first.
Safety first.
That's right. Safety first. Listen, your emotional safety is just as, if not more important than your physical safety. These incidents presented are not healthy issues, ladies and gentlemen. Divorce probably shouldn't be your go-to. Hopefully it's your last resort. However, when it comes to the physical and emotional and mental health of you, your partner, and your children, forget love. Safety first.
Safety first.
Safety first.
All right, Terrence, thank you so much for the Real Talk wrap up. Thanks you guys for listening to the podcast today. We learned a lot from Teasa, man.
Thanks for coming.
Yo, you're amazing. We're so happy that we had you on the podcast. Guys, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Relentlessly Real Podcast, and send your submissions if you have any questions or things you want us to talk about to relentlesslyrealpodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's relentlesslyrealpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe, like our videos, and all that good stuff. We love you.
YouTube channel, the Relentlessly Real Podcast, it's all the same.
And tell people about the podcast. It's amazing. Y'all know it's value. It's good. It's good value to this world,
Please
man.
share it.
Absolutely.
Share it.
Yeah, help us. All right.
And also,
Smack
Teasa,
you.
if you can tell us a little bit of information about like Instagram or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Oh,
Where can they find
like I mentioned before, I'm a DJ and my name is DJ Radiance. So my Instagram handle is DJ_Radiance, which is RADIANCE. And if you also want to email me for any events that you want to book me, email me at djradiance@gmail.com. Hey. And it's just all together, DJ Radiance.
Yeah, we'll get a small percentage of whatever job she does. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, thanks for listening. My name is John.
My name is Mike.
And I am Terrence.
And you listen to the Real Podcast.
Peace.